So I'm really excited to be making this video for you right now. And what I'm going to do is really break down health and happiness to its most fundamental components. And I'm going to accomplish this by analyzing and going over and showing you the ancient Chinese character for qi. And most people think of, qi as energy or life force. So what we're going to do is really explore and understand how can we have more of this, because in a general sense we can understand that health and happiness and abundance and all these positive virtues which we want in our life is really coming down to good chi flow or energy flowing or things not being congested. Easy way to understand that is look at like a clean flowing stream versus like a stagnant pond. One is very lush and supportive of life. The other is really stagnant and just a breeding ground for really toxic and not so positive things. So first and foremost, the character and the picture is linked below in the video, and you can click on that and the character will pop up and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So basically this character is the ancient Chinese character for qi. And basically what it is it's two lines. One on top is heaven and the bottom is earth. And then in the middle there's a person. And on one hand is there a symbol which represents their right hand, and the other side is a symbol which represents their mouth. So it's said that this character depicts a person connected through heaven through word or action. And it said that connecting to one's purpose through word or action would channel vast amounts of energy to fully incarnate our physical body. And conversely, words and actions not aligned with our purpose on earth would degenerate the physical body, resulting in sickness, eventually death, and disincarnation, which really kind of ties back to the original example that I used with the river versus the stagnant pool. So again, look at that symbol, spend a little minute understanding it while I'm talking, and what I'm going to do now is, because we've all been raised in this judeo-christian world, and people are probably thinking, heaven, what's he talking about heaven for? So we need to understand what exactly does this mean, because in this context it's a lot different than, oh, when I die I'm going to go to heaven and God's going to be there, and etc., etc. It's not this concept at all. So please, here's the box that we may be associating heaven with. Let's just step outside of it for a little bit. So then what do we mean by heaven? Again, it's not the Judeo-Christian sense, the fundamentalist religion sense at all. It's actually a bigger ancient concept which has just been kind of translated and funneled into this concept which we know of in the Western world. So what do we mean? We mean kind of the obvious things of the heavens, where the earth is down here and the heavens are above. So the sky, the celestial bodies, stars, celestial phenomena, etc. But we can also refer to heaven as kind of what's natural or what's innate, what's instinctive, and what's inborn. And is really a general reference to kind of an objective inevitability beyond our human will. So, for example, whatever it is that animates and moves the natural world, makes rivers flow in the way that they do, clouds form in the way that they do, trees form and grow in the way that they do, the patterns in wood form in the way that they do. And because if you look at these things, it's not just a bunch of junk thrown together that's really random. There's a certain organization to it, or what the Chinese call Li, which is Li. And it's kind of a Confucian concept as I've understood it, and you can read that more if it's a concept which interests you. But basically, in this context, that's what we're meaning by heaven. So to take it down even further and bring it in, internalize it, we can see it in this context as our true self, or that which is in harmony with the cosmos and its principles. So essentially, that's how we're born, and that's innate, that's our nature. That's what's natural to us. Yet through conditioning, through buying into all sorts of programming, that kind of gets cast aside. And this is also why in Taoism and many other traditions, it's always returning to the infant or becoming like an infant. It's always just kind of an image or a metaphor that's being used and referring to this kind of premature state, or this kind of inherent state which is in harmony with the cosmos. So again, it's a concept I've discussed a lot in previous videos. So another way that we can really understand it and bring it down is to understand that it's really another way of saying of what we are here to do, or the unique path that is yours and yours alone. Not, because you're a Buddhist you should do this, or because you're a Taoist or a Christian you should do this, but what is true and feels right inside of you, and what is coming from inside of you, and what is your unique path for yourself. So I know it's been kind of a lot of conceptual ideas, so what I want to do now is kind of give you a feeling context to have kind of a barometer, so you can say, oh, well, how would I know such things, or how would I know if I'm um, aligning with this, or if I'm, blocking that. So we've all had the experience of, waking up early for a job that we hate. We know how that feels. We know how terrible it feels, how we have no energy, how we just don't want to do anything, how it's like the worst day ever and everything just seems to go wrong. We know how that feels, and just, you know, or even in school, kids are like make up every single excuse to be sick. But when it comes to waking up early for something that you've been looking forward to, or something that you actually want to do, even if you are slightly sick, you're still going to want to do it. Or even if you're still tired, or you don't really feel 100%, you're still excited and motivated, and you're going to do it. So we've all had those two polarities of experiences. So we kind of know what something feels like that's not really a fit versus something that is more of a fit. So another way to look at that would be telling the truth versus lying. Now, I think most people, when they lie, feel kind of like this contraction, or this like sort of pain in their gut, where they're like, and this is what people watch for, say, people who are really good at reading body language, or investigators, or whatever. People know that this kind of happens, and that the nervous system reacts when someone says something that's not in harmony with their innate intelligence, and they watch for that. So what you can do is just watch for that in yourself, meaning if you're taking an action or engaging in something and it's feeling like, oh man, it kind of hurts in here, or it's kind of like tight or contracting, that's showing you, oh wait, your energy is contracting. And then just imagine doing that for your whole life. And just imagine doing that for your whole life and then wondering, why do I have health problems? Why do I not have energy? Why do I not feel good? You've been contracting your whole life. It's kind of definitely tying into that original symbol which we're talking about. So another example would be being in the right place at the right time. We all know how that feels, where you're thinking to yourself, oh man, I really want to connect with this person, or get this opportunity, or find this book or this CD or something like this, and all of a sudden you're just, wait, there it is, in the right place at the right time, and it feels really easy and almost effortless, and it just feels really good. Versus and other times in our lives where we're like, okay, I have to do this, I have to get this job, I have to make this happen, I have to go here and do this and do that, and basically put out all this force and all this stress. And we know how those things feel, and it's really not very good, and usually those things don't really work out that well anyways. They usually kind of fizzle out and degenerate. So I know that's a lot of examples, but because it's kind of a little bit of well, it's obviously a very important and fundamental subject, so it deserves hours of examination and discussion. But for the sake of YouTube, 10 minutes should hopefully suffice and give you a good introduction and something to really think about and go over in your mind. So again, to kind of conclude it, wrap it up, and kind of chunk it down even more, we can say that doing what's a fit for us, following our unique path, and aligning thereby with cosmic principles is really what can and usually does give us great amounts of energy, and really facilitates creating the life that we want. And even more of a simplistic version, if we're going to define health and happiness and positivity as good energy flow or good chi flow, then we're going to use the example of the river versus the stagnant pond. We can say doing what fits, doing what's a good match for us, equals expansion and flow and health, and ignoring what fits, ignoring what's a match for us, and basically lying to ourselves, is congestion, stagnation, and ill health. So again, it's really just tying in everything that we've talked about, but really just putting it in very sort of simplistic terms. So again, the Chinese character is there. Click on it, look at it, It'll really help you see and understand a little bit more of everything that we've just gone through. Hopefully it's really helpful. For me, this has been a concept which I've been digesting and going over for many years, and was really one of the most important and one of the most transformational things I've ever come across. And I think, and I'm very confident in that it will do the same for you. And especially, people ask, so many questions and say, oh, I have this health condition or this thing or this lifestyle thing. It's like, really, if we can address this root thing, a lot of those other things will just kind of fall away. You'll be too busy having fun and expanding, and your energy will be flowing. You just forget. That's kind of what happens, or things just sort of take care of themselves. So if you're going to do any sort of work on yourself, if you're going to invest in yourself, the things which we've just gone over in the video, highly important, highly rewarding, and will really be a pretty big return on your investment. So, like I said, it's 11 minutes. This is worth hours of conversation. But for now, that's it. If you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll talk to you soon.